Hey everyone, let's look at the first part of the section 7.3 lab regarding the Central Limit Theorem. We already did a little bit of this in class, but let's do it a little bit more. So first off, we're going to be considering rolling a six-sided die, looking at the distribution of that. Then we're going to be doing a 60 roll experiment, and then we're going to break that into 10 roll samples, do some stuff with that. And then at the very end, we're going to break that into two 30 roll samples and take a look at that. Okay. Now questions 1 and 3 you should just answer on your own. Let's get to the Minitab stuff. Step 1, roll your die 60 times and record each outcome. Open up Minitab, type this stuff in if you haven't already. Calc, random data, number of rows to generate, it's going to be 60. Store in column, we're going to make it 60 rolls. Change the distribution from normal to discrete. Values in, that's going to be roll. The probabilities, that's going to be P of roll. And then you should get something different from what I got, right? But 60 random rolls, right? Okay. Now at this point, just to show you the directions, they say combine your results with at least 2 other students and tally the frequency of each roll, right? So you should have a total of 180, right, results, right? But it'd be a little unwieldy to try to do that yet, right? So let's instead do frequency tables, then tally the results, right? So if we go to stat, tables, tally individual variables, let's check percents, but for variables, we're going to do 60 rolls. Make sure to select it. There you go. Okay, so now at this point, you see we have this nice little, both a frequency chart and a relative frequency chart because of the percent. So at this point, you're going to go and follow the directions to combine your results with at least 2 other students, right? So you tally the frequencies of each roll in the die and the combined results, right? So whatever your classmate got for 1, add it to 14. Whatever your classmate got for 2, add it to 8, right? And by the way, your numbers might be different from mine, right? Okay. But anyway, just to be clear, you know, I would get more data, whatever. I might try to enter it in somewhere if I wanted, and I would create a little histogram, right? And just anyway, my histogram looks like this, right? A little all over the place, right? Little more varied than you might expect, but it's somewhat uniform-ish. Maybe not really, a little bimodal. All right, so anyway, now what we're going to do is we're going to break this into, again, if we follow the directions, we're going to break it into 6 10-roll samples. All right? All right, so draw a bar graph. Step 4, answer step 4, right? Now we're looking at the Central Limit Theorem, right? So we're on to step 5, right? Each sequence of 10 rolls, calculate the mean of that sample, round to 1 decimal place, right? So this is kind of nice, right? What we're going to do here, we're just going to add these, I'm just going to add these up, and then, and we're just going to move the decimal place over, right? So 1, 7, 13, 16, 21, 23, 28, 32, 35, 36. So for my first one over here, I'm going to put 3.6. Okay. Now I know in class for some of you, I made a separate column for each sample mean. I realize that's not a good idea. I'm just going to put them all in the same column. 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 11, 19, 22. So that's actually going to be sample mean of 2.2, right? Add them up, divide by 10. Right? And I'm just going to do the same thing a couple more times, etc. 15, 16, 19, 25, 31, 32, 34, 40. That's a little bit higher, right? Okay. And we're just going to do this 3 more times, right? Right, so here we are for 31, right? We get 6, 7, 9, 13, 16, 21, 25, 27, 32, 36. divided by 10, you get 3.6, right? Just 2 more times. So I'm going to go from 41 to 50. Right, 1, 2, 5, 9, 15, 19, 23, 24, 30. Right there. And lastly, from 51 to 60. 1, 2, 6, 9, 13, 17, 19, 25, 29, 35. Right, and at this point, right, so you see how we have 6 averages, which is what we're supposed to have. And at this point, they say combine your sample means with those of as many of your classmates as you can, right? Record all those sample means, right? So put them in this column too, right? Record your other classmates' sample means right here, okay? See how many you can get. All right, now at this point, they say tally the frequencies into a table like this one. Now you can do this manually, or you can try to do it in Excel or Minitab if you want. But there is a nice way to do this with a histogram, right? You want to get a histogram of all the data. So you want to put all the data into this column. And whenever you do, you're going to make a histogram, right? You go to Graph, Histogram, Simple. Right, we're going to put it in there. Now, this is not exactly the binning that we want, right? These classes are not the classes that we want. So we can change that. If you click that, you click the graph, click that little arrow, Graph Options. Let's get rid of this. Let's go to Scales. See where it says Custom Midpoint Cut Point Positions. What we're going to do, we're going to delete this. And if you notice, each of these classes, like 1.0 to 1.2, for example, the midpoint is 1.1, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1.1. And then you notice the next midpoint is 1.4, right? So we're just going to do 1.1 space 1.4, space 1.7, space 2.0, space 2.3, space 2.6. And you just keep doing this. You keep going up by 0.3. Right? And there you go. And you stop there because you just notice, we go back here, just notice that that's the last bin or the last data class, right? Is the one that's centered at 5.9. Okay. And maybe we could, I see it. We've got, you could do frequency or percent. Either is fine. Right, I think we want frequency because it's asking for a tally. Okay. And notice that when you do that, it changes the histogram accordingly. Now, yours is going to look a lot more interesting than mine because you're going to have a lot more sample means from classmates you've collected. Okay? There's data you've collected, right? And so that's the basic gist of this all. Then they have you calculate a couple of, they ask you to calculate the mean of your sample means and the standard deviation of your sample means. Yeah, I can do that really quickly. Again, yours is going to look a little bit different from mine. You should have a lot more data. But if we go to calculator real quick, we're going to put the mean in there. The expression, of course, is going to be the mean of, and it's just this column, right? All right, and there's our mean of the means. Again, you should have a lot more data. And then for the standard deviation, again, you're going to have a lot more. You're going to store it here. But what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, we're finding the square root of the sum of, and it's going to be whatever the value is. Right, so I guess it's that guy. Yeah, it's going to be that guy. Oh, wait, select that right there. That guy minus the mean quantity squared. And then we do that. Didn't like that. Might need an extra one in there. Yeah, I think I needed another one. Oh, whoops, yeah, no, I needed this. And I needed, actually, I think over here, I needed a divided by 6, I think is what it was. Yeah, and again, for you, it's going to be a little bit different, but there's your standard deviation. Okay, so that's just for that. Then anyway, it's going to ask you to ask you a couple of other questions, etc. Then it wants you to do the same sort of thing for 30 roll samples. Okay, so I'll leave that to you. But that's the basics of this lab.